entire U.S. military surveillance grid is dual purpose, continuously scanning the Earth for holes in the fabric of reality. I mean, just let that sink in for a second. Okay, let's dive right into this highly classified leak. The source material for today's explainer drops us straight into the frantic, incredibly high-stakes perspective of a Space Force insider. And honestly, if this documentation is real, it completely rewrites everything we know about physics and national security. Having spent a little time around Eglin Air Force Base myself, I'm pretty familiar with these massive radar arrays, so this specific leak immediately caught my eye. It's making a frankly staggering claim that our missile defense systems are secretly tracking things that literally defy the known laws of reality.
So how the Space Force tracks time travel, the divide by zero error. Consider this explainer a rogue debrief. We're going to break down the highly complex radar telemetry and the quantum physics outlined in these leaked documents to understand exactly how this all works.
Because the central question driving this entire analysis is just wild. What actually happens when a radar tracks an object that leaves time? You see, when a black-budget craft hyperaccelerates and tears the spacetime metric, it doesn't just fly away really fast. According to the whistleblower, it mathematically drops off the universal ledger. But to really answer this, we need to look at the exact physics of a temporal breach.
Section 1. The Eglin Array and the Forensic Signature.
The source anchors its claims at a very specific, highly secure location, Site C6 at Eglin Air Force Base. And the absolute crown jewel of this location is the AN/FPS 85. Now, this isn't your normal rotating satellite dish, not even close. It's a massive, unmoving slab dacing the sky. It's a solid-state, phased-array space surveillance radar, and it steers thousands of small antennas, not by moving any physical parts, but by subtly shifting frequencies and phases. It operates entirely through resonance. The source actually describes it as technology that thinks. It is incredibly, almost unfathomably powerful.
And because of that power, it can spot the massive difference in forensic signatures. Think about a standard crash, say an F-35 fighter jet going down. That follows standard Newtonian physics. You get a kinetic debris field, a thermal hydrocarbon fire, and a descending track on the operator's screen. It's tragic, absolutely, but it obeys the laws of physics. Now compare that to a temporal breach, when an advanced electrogravitic drive suffers a critical overvoltage and falls into a closed time-like curve. It leaves a quantum signature. It leaves a violent, rapidly collapsing tear in the local spacetime metric, which, probably requires a bit more paperwork.
Section 2. The Kinematic divide by zero error.
Let's see how this builds when we look at the actual math happening on a radar operator's screen during one of these events. To get this, you'll really just need a basic grasp of the velocity equation from high school physics. Velocity equals the change in distance over the change in time. Simple kinematics, right? But according to the source, when a craft's engine overvolts and enters that closed time-like curve, its change in time effectively ceases to exist locally. The time variable literally collapses. And this is not some gradual fade. This whole catastrophic failure happens in mere milliseconds. Step 1, the radar paints a solid metallic object moving at hypersonic speeds. Step 2, the craft's engine overvolts, tearing the timeline. Step 3, the object's radar cross-section instantaneously vanishes. And Step 4, the military's internal velocity algorithms violently crash. Think about what this means for the radar operator who's just staring at the screen. In a single radar sweep, the object doesn't descend, it doesn't break apart into multiple tracks like a conventional crash. Its radar cross-section, its RCS, literally goes from massive to absolute zero. You are watching a physical object with immense mass simply cease to exist mathematically. Boom, gone from the universal ledger. But here's the thing. The computer doesn't know that. These massive supercomputers at Eglin are built to handle virtually any aerodynamic maneuver on Earth. But an object violating time? Not so much. The system is still desperately trying to calculate the object's velocity. It's trying to find the change in distance over the change in time. But without the dimension of time, because the local change in time is now zero, the system hits a fatal mathematical wall. The result? A massive divide by zero kinematic error flashing violently across active-duty military screens. The math literally breaks. You cannot divide a number by zero. It's impossible. And when the system attempts to do it anyway, the radar algorithms just totally panic in real time. Section 3, the Orbital Panopticon and catching the flash. So if the ground radar crashes, what then? Well, when the massive AN/FPS 85 hits this mathematical impossibility, the source claims the Space Force relies on a secondary, backup system in space to catch the microsecond flash of the breach. They are hunting for something incredibly specific: Cherenkov radiation. When a craft violently forces its way out of the local spacetime metric, the sudden collapse of its mass reduction field emits a blinding, localized microsecond flash. The Space Force uses the Space-Based Infrared System, or SBIRs, which is equipped with highly sensitive staring sensors designed specifically to detect this exotic, microscopic nuclear flash.
63.4 degrees. Now, why that specific orbital inclination for these SBIR satellites? I promise you it is not an arbitrary number. It is an absolutely brilliant orbital physics hack designed for uninterrupted surveillance. By placing these sensors in a highly classified Molniya orbit at exactly 63.4 degrees, the engineers mathematically zero out something called apsidal precession, which, simply put, is the wobble caused by the Earth's equatorial bulge. By freezing the orbital geometry like this, the math hack allows the satellites to literally hang motionless at a 25,000-mile apogee. They can just stare, unblinking, straight down at the Earth for up to 10 hours at a time, forever hunting for the radioactive exhaust of a shattered timeline.
Section 4. The Title 50 Cover-Up.
This brings us to a really massive logistical problem. How on earth does the military handle these mathematical impossibilities popping up on the screens of low-level active-duty technicians? Well, according to the documents, they rely on a strictly two-tiered reality. On one side, you have uncleared radar operators who see the divide by zero errors and are just told to ignore them. I mean, imagine telling a terrified technician that a hyper-accelerating time-bending anomaly that just crashed the supercomputer was simply a weather glitch or anomalous software clutter. But on the other side, cleared operatives are quietly siphoning off that raw, unencrypted telemetry. It's pulled away for temporal analysis and routed directly to classified Title 50 intelligence servers.
And all of that raw, siphoned data has a final destination, a program called Immaculate Constellation. The source describes this as an unacknowledged special access program, essentially a master vault. It is the absolute digital fortress where the highest quality, undegraded, multi-sensor telemetry, the radar data, the infrared flashes, the kinematic errors, the whole shebang, is hoarded entirely away from public and congressional oversight.
And why this matters so much to you and me is because the source argues this legal loophole is exactly why public-facing government agencies can testify under oath that they have no evidence. Agencies investigating anomalies, like ARO, operate under Title 10, which is military authority. But Immaculate Constellation operates under Title 50, which governs covert intelligence. It is a brilliant, infuriating jurisdictional shell game. The data is deliberately intercepted, completely removed from the military chain of command, and locked behind a totally different legal classification. So yeah, they can tell the public the truth under oath while actively hiding the data in another building.
So, as we wrap up this explainer, we're really left with a staggering question based on this whistleblower's data. If this source is correct, we have to ask ourselves, is the multi-billion-dollar U.S. military surveillance grid primarily watching the skies for foreign missiles, or is its true ultimate purpose to police the very fabric of time itself? It's a massive paradigm shift regarding what our sensors are actually staring at in the dark. Makes you wonder what they're going to catch next, doesn't it?